The Black Death was a pandemic event that hit Europe, Asia, and North Africa between 1347 to 1353. The name Black Death is taken from the symptoms of sufferers, who usually experience blackened skin on the fingers and toes or the tip of the nose, due to dead tissue. The cause of the Black Death outbreak is infection with the Yersinia pestis bacteria, which is spread by fleas. The Black Death outbreak, which lasted for around 7 years, is estimated to have claimed the lives of 75 to 200 million people. Due to the large number of victims, the Black Death is said to be the deadliest pandemic in history, almost wiping out the population of Europe. Here are some facts about the Black Death. 1. The Black Death killed 25% to 60% of Europe's population. The Black Death is the name used to describe the plague epidemic that hit Europe from 1348 to 1351. One of the most frightening facts about the Black Death is that the plague was extremely fatal and spread very quickly. Although the exact death toll can only be estimated based on what we know now, it is estimated that between 75 and 200 million people died. It is estimated that 25% to 60% of Europe's population was wiped out during the epidemic. Some estimates are even set as high as 2/3 of the population. 2. The Black Death was not the first plague epidemic. There are many facts about the Black Death relating to the devastating consequences it left behind. But did you know that the Black Death was not actually the first epidemic? It was the second plague outbreak in the Middle Ages. The first occurred in the 6th century, and is often referred to as the Plague of Justinian. Like the Black Death, the first epidemic spread widely and caused many deaths. However, it did not reach the same terrifying magnitude as the Black Death. 3. It spreads very quickly and causes deadly symptoms. The Black Plague had a deadly effect on sufferers. Reported by the Mayo Clinic, those infected with the Black Plague will appear lumps or swelling in the armpits, groin, or neck. The lump causes excruciating pain. Usually, sufferers will also experience high fever, headache, fatigue, pain, and coughing up blood. Once infected, the Black Plague can take the sufferer's life in 5 days or even less than 1 day. The Black Plague also spread very quickly, 30 to 100 times faster than diseases in the modern era. Plus, the treatment of diseases at that time tended to be dangerous and terrible, increasing the risk of death even higher. 4. The population at that time was prone to the spread of disease. The Black Death was terrifying due to the shocking speed with which it spread. It was no coincidence that the epidemic hit Europe as quickly as it did. The population at that time was very vulnerable to infectious diseases. The Black Death occurred after a period of rapid population growth in Europe. At that time, there were 2 years of harsh winters with heavy rains. Food sources are limited, while the population is still growing rapidly. This causes food shortages that drive people and animals from rural areas and into cities. Crowded living conditions, coupled with a lack of hygiene, allow disease to spread very quickly. 5. A village voluntarily closed to stop the spread of disease. When talking about Black Death facts, you may remember hearing that during this time, if someone in a household contracted the disease, the entire household could be forcibly locked down for 2 weeks with everyone inside. In England, there is a village that voluntarily quarantines itself to prevent the spread of the plague. In 1665, residents of the village of Eyam in Derbyshire, England were infected with the plague. The villagers decided to close their village, knowing that it would be a great sacrifice. When the outbreak subsided, the death toll in the village was 256 people. However, none of the neighboring villages were affected by the plague, thanks to the heroic sacrifice of the people of Eden. 6. The name Black Death was not used at that time. At the time the Black Death spread and terrorized Europe, it was not actually known by that name. People at that time called the plague outbreak the Great Death or Plague. The name Black Death comes from a poem written by Simon de Covinus, in which the disease was called Atra Mors. This means terrible death or Black Death. In the 16th century, the phrase was translated into English as the Black Death, and the name came into use to differentiate it from the Great Plague of 1665. 7. Plagues still exist in the modern world. When it comes to the facts of the Black Plague, many people may assume that it is a thing of the past. Plague still exists in the world today, but fortunately, the chances of another plague epidemic occurring worldwide are rather slim thanks to the development of antibiotics, although pandemics can still emerge in developing countries, where access to medicines is still lacking. The last plague outbreak occurred in 1994 in India. 8. Treatments from the Black Death era are still popular today. Aromatherapy was a popular treatment during the Black Death. This is mainly due to the popular belief that bad air is the cause. People at that time were told to bring fragrant flowers or plants, because it was believed they could help prevent disease. This was the birth of aromatherapy as we know it today. Today, many people still use aromatic essences to reduce stress and promote a healthy lifestyle. Many still believe that aromatherapy can cure diseases. 9. The term quarantine was coined during the Black Death era. In 1348, when the Black Death began to spread through the city of Venice, the city council scrambled to find an effective solution to prevent the outbreak. They immediately closed the city's waters. All ships entering Venice must be isolated for 40 days. This was to ensure that the ship was clear of plague. The 40-day holding period is called quaranti giorni in Italian. In modern English, this phrase has evolved into quarantine, a term to denote the isolation of a subject to prevent disease or the spread of a virus. 10. Stool and urine include treatments prescribed by a doctor. Because the cause of the disease is unknown, doctors can't do much other than try to guess the cure. When nothing works, they get more and more creative. This is why some of the strangest Black Death facts involved the treatments doctors prescribed for their patients at the time. Many doctors believed that the stench could repel the plague. Therefore, some treatments for plague involved the use of feces and urine. Back then, people were desperate enough to try anything. However, in modern times, we know for certain that such treatments are more likely to help the disease spread than to help the patient recover. Those are some facts about the Black Death, the deadliest plague in history. Thanks for watching this video until it's finished. Hopefully this video can increase your knowledge. If this video is useful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. See you in the next video.